All right, part 2 of the worksheet. I had to go take care of my grandma real quick. All right, so back to where we were. We're on the box method. So here's what we've got. So we've got our A term in the top left, the number down here in the bottom right. Those two numbers that we found, remember, in part 1. So check out part 1 for the first part of this problem, because I'm skipping to where we left off in part 1 of the video. The -16 and the -15. Those were our numbers that multiply to 240 and add to -31. Okay, so those numbers are going to go here and here. Okay, that said, we're going to go column by column and row by row and find greatest common factors. Okay, so 10 and 15, the largest number that goes into those is going to be a 5. X squared and x, we can take out an x. From -16 and 24, we can take out an 8. And from 10 and 16, so we're looking right here, we can take out a 2. And then x squared and x, we can take out an x. And then down here, from 15 and 24, we can take out a 3. All right, this is a very strange gimmick to the box method. It's why I personally prefer different methods of factoring, but this is how they want us to do it here. Or this is how they want us to teach it right now. So when you are doing the box method for factoring, so when a does not equal 1, right? When that's not a 1 and we have to do it the hard way. When C is positive and B is negative, you have to be aware that these numbers will both be negative no matter what, every single time. All right, so I'll say it again. When C is positive, that plus 24, and B is negative, that -31, those two numbers that factor out, those two numbers when you're doing the greatest common factor step in the box method, those are going to be negative. That's something that you should write down. Because that's going to happen every single time. All right, so that said, we've got our expressions for the side links. 5x minus 8, 2x minus 3. And then again, the same thing for the perimeter. So we're going to have 2 of each of them because we've got a top and a bottom. We've got a left and a right. All right, I'm going to leave the distributing and combining like terms to you because I want to get this video posted as soon as I can. I will go ahead, give you the final answer. It is 14x minus 22 units for the perimeter. All right, here's the rest of these. Again, we're back to some easier ones because notice our A here is 1. So we just want two numbers. They multiply to 36 and they add to 12. A little easier this time, right? 6 and 6, because those two multiply to 36 and add up to 12. So for our side links, we've got x plus 6 and x plus 6. For the perimeter, that's all the way around. So think about, we've got 2 of these on the left and the right, and then 2 more of them to make up the top and the bottom. Or if you notice, it's a square. So we could have just multiplied the whole thing by 4, right? Because all 4 sides are the same. And remember what perimeter is. That's I'm starting here and I'm walking all the way around all 4 sides. All right. So again, I'm going to leave the distributing, the combining like terms to you. Remember what's happening. We're multiplying 4 by each of these, and that is going to give us 4x plus 24 units. And notice you could do this, and it's going to give you the same answer. All right, both of those ways are correct. As long as you arrive at the answer, that's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about too much about how you get there, as long as you're doing good math along the way. Okay, got another one here. So again, A is 1, right? There's no number being multiplied by that squared term. So we're just going to be looking for 2 numbers that multiply to 9 and that add to -6. All right, so those 2 numbers, think about, if you're multiplying to a positive, that's either 2 positives or 2 negatives. If we're adding to a negative, that means that they've got to have negatives, right? So there has to be 2 negatives. So how can I get to 9? We'll multiply to 9 and add to 6. It's going to be 3 and 3, and they're both negatives, right? Because we need to add to a negative number. So those will be our side links, x minus 3, x minus 3. And then for the perimeter, again, it's a square, so we could just multiply it by 4. 4 times x minus 3. Go ahead, distribute that 4, and you're going to get 4x minus 12 units. All right, one last one. It's a tricky one, right? Because A is not 1, so we've got to do the diamond in the box. So remember, what goes up top is going to be B, 36. What goes down at the bottom? A times C, 32 times 9. That is 288. Right, so we're going to find two numbers that multiply to 288. And those same two numbers need to add to 36. All right, I'm going to speed through this a little bit just because I want to get this video posted for class. All right, those two numbers are 24 and 12. They multiply to 288 and add to 36. So we take those numbers, we make our box. All right, the first term, that 9x squared, goes in the top left. That number, C, goes down here in the bottom right. And the two numbers we just found go in the other two. So we have a 24 and we have a 12. All right, column by column, let's find the greatest common factor. Largest number that goes into 9 and 12 is 3. X squared and x is going to give us an x. Let's go in the second column here. The largest number that goes into 24 and 32 is 8. And then we can't take an x out, so that's just going to be an 8. All right, we're going to do the same thing in the two rows. So from this row, the top row, you can take out another 3x. And then in that bottom row, you can take out a 6. All right, so those are going to be our side lengths. 3x plus 8, 3x plus 6. And for the perimeter, again, you're going to multiply each of them by 2. Okay, and then that's going to end up giving you a final answer. It's going to be 12x plus 28 units. All right, I rushed a little bit at the end because I want to get this posted in time. If you have any questions, please let me know.